The roaring winds of the battle-scarred planet Tellurian carried the unmistakable scent of ash and war. Fields that had once been lush with alien flora were now scorched black, pockmarked by craters and strewn with the remains of fallen soldiers, human and alien alike. The coalition of free systems had pushed humanity to the brink. Outnumbered and outgunned, humanity was left with no choice but to turn to an extreme measure: Project Lazarus. Commander Elena Voss stood on the observation deck of the Geneforge facility, her gloved hands gripping the railing as she watched the containment chamber below. The chamber was bathed in a dim, eerie green light, pulsating with the life force of something ancient and terrible. "We've finally done it," said Drive Kasim, the project's lead geneticist, his voice trembling with a mix of pride and apprehension. "The Smilodon Maximus is ready, extinct for nearly 40,000 years, but now, enhanced." Elena turned to him, her expression hard. "Is it controllable?" "As much as anything born for death and survival can be. The neural links should hold, but they're unpredictable," Kasim admitted. "Unpredictable is fine," Elena said, her tone cold as steel. "We need something the Coalition can't prepare for, something that screams Deathworld." Below them, the beast stirred. It was massive, its saber-like teeth gleaming under the chamber's light. This wasn't the Smilodon of Earth's history. Genetic engineering had made it larger, faster, and tougher. Its fur shimmered with a chameleonic adaptation to its surroundings, and its muscles rippled with the power of something designed not by nature but by necessity. The call to arms came too soon. Coalition forces had detected the facility and were closing in. Without hesitation, Elena activated the neural link herself, feeling the sharp jolt as her mind connected with the resurrected predator. The creature's thoughts were primal, a cocktail of hunger, rage, and dominance. But amidst the chaos, there was a strange flicker of recognition, a bond that no lab could fully explain. "Deploy the beasts," Elena ordered, "all of them." As the facility gates opened, other chambers released their inhabitants, towering terrorbirds with razor-sharp beaks, mammoths outfitted with armor and tusks sharpened to deadly points, and wolf-like predators with eyes that glowed like embers. The battlefield erupted into chaos as the Coalition's troops faced an onslaught they could never have anticipated. Plasma rifles and energy shields vaulted against the raw power and fury of these ancient warriors. A Smilodon leapt into a Coalition mech, its claws tearing through metal like paper. A pack of dire wolves flanked the enemy, their coordinated attack overwhelming entire platoons. Elena moved through the chaos, directing her beast with precision. She felt the surge of power as her Smilodon tore through an armored convoy, its roar sending chills down her spine. For the first time in years, humanity wasn't just surviving, they were winning. By the time the battle ended, the Coalition forces had retreated, their morale shattered by the sheer brutality of the resurrected Deathworld Beasts. The field was silent except for the heavy breathing of the surviving creatures and the distant crackle of fires. Kasim approached Elena, his face pale. "We won today, but what happens when we can no longer control them?" Elena looked at her Smilodon, its golden eyes locking with hers. "Then we remember that Deathworlders, no matter the species, don't need control, they need a purpose." She turned to the horizon, where another Coalition fleet loomed in the sky. "And for now, that purpose is survival." Title: The Rise of the Pack. The days following the battle were a blur of activity. Humanity's victory over the Coalition forces had bought them precious time, but the war was far from over. Commanders across the Allied Human Front demanded reinforcements, while the scientific community buzzed with the implications of Project Lazarus. The beasts that had turned the tide of battle were now both humanity's greatest asset and its greatest risk. In the heart of the fortified Lazarus base, Commander Elena Voss and Drive Kasim faced a new challenge. The resurrected beasts were not just tools of war, they were intelligent, adaptable, and evolving. Elena watched as her Smilodon, nicknamed Fang, prowled through an enclosed training yard. Its golden eyes were constantly scanning, calculating. The other beasts were similarly restless. Packs of dire wolves tested the electrified fences, terrorbirds stalked the perimeter, and the armored mammoths were learning to communicate with each other through guttural sounds. "They're forming hierarchies," Kasim observed, his voice filled with equal parts fascination and dread. "Pack dynamics are emerging where none existed before. It's like they're trying to figure out their place in this new world." Elena crossed her arms, her gaze never leaving Fang. "That's not surprising. They're Deathworld creatures. Instinct, adaptation, survival, that's in their DNA. But if they're working together, that's both an opportunity and a threat." Kasim hesitated before speaking again. There's something else. Neural link feedback from you and the other handlers is creating something unusual. These beasts are starting to think more strategically, more like us. Fang, in particular, shows signs of empathy and problem-solving well beyond what we anticipated. Elena raised an eyebrow. You're saying I made it smarter? Smarter, and maybe more human, Kasim admitted. The opportunity to test these theories came faster than expected. Coalition forces launched a retaliatory strike, this time with precision orbital bombardments and advanced drones designed specifically to neutralize biological threats. The Lazarus facility's defenses were overwhelmed within hours. Elena, Kasim shouted as explosions rocked the base. We can't hold them here, we have to evacuate. But Elena wasn't listening. She was in the neural pod, connecting with Fang and the other beasts. The link was stronger this time, almost overwhelming. Fang's thoughts were like a tidal wave of fury and defiance, but there was also clarity. A plan was forming, not hers, but theirs. Through Fang's eyes, she saw the battlefield in ways no human ever could. The beasts were communicating, using their natural abilities to exploit the enemy's weaknesses. Terror birds leapt into the air, slicing drones from the sky with their serrated beaks. Mammoths charged into enemy armor, their tusks ripping apart shields. Packs of dire wolves coordinated attacks, striking in synchronized waves. Fang roared, and Elena felt the sound reverberate through her chest. It wasn't just a battle cry, it was a command. The beasts rallied, turning their raw power into a cohesive assault that outmatched even the Coalition's superior technology. By the time the dust settled, the Coalition strike force was decimated. The Lazarus base, however, was in ruins. Elena stood among the wreckage, Fang at her side. The surviving beasts gathered around her in a loose formation, their bodies battered but their spirits unbroken. Kasim emerged from the rubble, clutching a tablet filled with data he had managed to salvage. This was never just about resurrecting extinct creatures, he said, his voice shaking. We've created something new, a hybrid of human and beast. If they keep evolving, they won't need us. Elena finished for him, her voice calm but resolute. She turned to Fang, who met her gaze with a piercing intensity that seemed almost human. But for now, we need them as much as they need us. She looked to the horizon, where the Coalition's fleets were gathering for another assault. We'll rebuild, we'll adapt, and we'll fight, together. Fang growled softly, a sound that Elena could almost swear was an agreement. The age of the resurrected beasts had begun, and with it, humanity's best chance at survival. But the question loomed, how long before the beasts decided they didn't need humanity at all?